Hey guys, we're going to do something a little different today. While this may be informative, this is going to be a new design, a new series or new set of videos that I've been thinking about. It's called Piss Poor Design. As a classic example here, this 2008 Chevy Colorado with a 2.9 liter, 4 cylinders, just makes you kind of want to tear your hair out. I've got a spark plug tube seal here, about the third one back. Apparently it's real common for oil to get down on top of the spark plugs. Let me just tell you, they could have done this in a way easier method in about 10 different ways, but in addition to the standard kind of remove all the wiring harnesses and the air intake box that's up on the top, which is not that tough, and then the coils and all the little connectors and hoses and whatnot, they wrap the intake. Throttle body is missing from right here, so the actual air intake starts here and then wraps around to the front of it. Again, way more complicated than it should have been. More bolts, more tubes, oil dipstick to take out, and the alternator, which is missing it from in here. You have to actually get the alternator out. The service manual tells you remove the 3 bolts, or remove the 2 bottom bolts from the compressor, and remove the top one, and without discharging the AC system. Yeah, if you had a ton of patience, you could probably remove that top bolt and leave it in place and move the whole thing down just so you can get to the stupid positive terminal on the alternator, buried way down deep in here. Just way more complicated and irritating than it needs to be. And I understand how it went down the assembly line, engine, then dropped the frame on top of it, or whatever it was that they did. But this was absolutely not with the technician or any maintenance in mind. Oh, the same has to be true of the starter, which is below the intake. It's way down in here, if you're wondering. Way up in here, wrapped underneath the intake. That's actually the starter solenoid that you see right there. This guy is the starter solenoid, way back in there. So, it's just my take on it. Piss poor design. If I had to recommend this truck to somebody, or if I had to make a judgment call on this truck to somebody, I would say just don't. Just frickin' don't. Way too much time. Kind of gutless, not a lot of power anyway. Not my favorite engine to work on. The water pump isn't horrific, but you know what? Anything where they take the intake and they wrap it around the starter, and it requires you to remove the AC compressor to get to the alternator bolt, or the alternator set of bolts, to remove it, and then finally get to the intake, remove it so you can do the frickin' valve cover. Absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, so feel free to comment with whatever your least favorite car or nightmare of a piece on a car to remove is. I'll hopefully do a couple more of these. I hope y'all found it entertaining. Pardon the voice, it's cold. I got a cold and getting over. I hope y'all have a fantastic day, and you don't have to work on your Chevy Colorado, but you know what? There's a good chance you're gonna be if you own one. So a lot of stuff to remove in order to get the dadgum valve cover out. You can do it, just stick with it, stock up on patience, and get ready to get dusty. One thing I will say is when I remove the compressor, they say to do it without it removing the lines. I removed the one bottom line right there. I believe that'd be the suction line. Yep, remove the suction line just to make your life easier and get. This one had an AC leak at the high side port anyway, so I sucked it down. If you have the ability, definitely discharge the AC before starting this. Will make that bottom top, and make that top bolt on the AC compressor zip right out there through the fender well. The fender well, by the way, is also not on my favorite list. Those little clips you remove, not super easy, and there's a ton of them. So anyway, we'll see if you guys like this stuff. I'm sure there'll be lots more piss poor videos, piss poor engineering videos to follow this up, so take it easy, guys.